Hi, Mr. Sanjib. Thank you so much for joining me in this podcast episode. Really appreciate it. How are you today?
I'm doing excellent. How are you?
Yeah, I'm doing great as well, and super excited to have a conversation with you on the brain, how meditation works, how anxiety we can deal with it better, and things like that. Obviously, you have experience on it, and obviously you are in a medical profession as well. So with that, we can have like a great conversation. And yeah, I'm going through like my mental illness as well, like a depression, anxieties. So it will be like a more related to the conversation. We can both can have a conversation in a great way. So before that, I'd love to know more about your career choice. Like, how did you choose the medical path, and how did you come across with like mental health, brain works, and anxiety, how to overcome that kind of thing?
So, from initially, I was very interested in being in the medical field. Like, when I was seventh or eighth grade, I decided, I wanted to be, either a doctor or a pharmacist. And, my interest slowly growed in that field. And, I was more good in science rather than in maths. So that inclination was there.
Yeah.
And after finishing my 12th grade or high school, I was not able to get admitted in a medical school. So the second best option was pharmacy. So I chose pharmacy, and there was no looking back after that.
Mhm. Yeah, that's great. And it's like a cultural thing as well, like coming from Indian background, like a family wants you to be a doctor or engineer, things like that. So it's like a kind of norm, and obviously you followed your passion as well. So that's which is a great thing. And you have like interesting journey with like anxiety itself, and like you mentioned earlier with our previous call, like you went through your depression yourself. That's why you create the app, the system. And so walk us through like how did you manage your anxiety, depression? What did you do differently on them dark moment? How did you stay positive?
That's a very good question, Russell. So from 2013 to 2016, I was struggling in my life. Like, there was a situation in my life which was beyond my control, and I don't know what to do.
Right.
And I can relate to, a lot of other people, regarding this, because we all have to face a difficult situation in our life.
Yeah.
It can be financial issues, it can be employment, it can be a relationship, it can be job related. So I was struggling for a period of 3 to 4 years, and I don't know what to do. And when you stay in that negative emotion for a long time, your thinking pattern becomes negative. So
Yeah.
each passing day, I was thinking deeper and deeper, and I was not able to control my emotions. And there was a point in my life where I have to, decide, okay, which way my life has to go.
Mhm.
Because, you realize inside that, this is going downhill.
Yeah.
And I have reached the rock bottom. So from the rock bottom, I have to decide, okay, if I go in this path any longer, I am going downhill and this life is going to end. So what can I do to, improve my life?
Yeah.
So that realization came at the end of 2016. And I started my self-transformation journey in 2017. Again, I don't know what has to be done, because, if somebody would have told me, okay, these are the things, you do it, which will help you.
Yeah.
So there was not a clear-cut roadmap, which will give me guidance. Okay, these are the things which is helpful.
Mm.
So as I'm coming from, the Eastern culture, I thought, why don't I try meditation?
Okay.
Because, meditation has been used to, calm this restless mind. And as my mind was, pulled in different directions, I thought maybe, meditation is going to help me. So that led me to this journey of meditation. And after 8 weeks of meditation, I figured out, okay, I'm a little bit less restless.
Mhm.
My mind is more calm. I used to eat, impulsive eating, which was less. So I was seeing changes inside me. And I started, devoting more time to meditation. Initially, I started with, 10 or 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Then I started doing a little bit more to figure out, okay, what is happening inside me. And, it was giving me, happiness. My mind was more calm. And I started, diving more into meditation and to find the scientific explanation what is happening inside our brain, because something was happening inside me.
Yeah.
And as you know that, our brain weighs 3 pounds, and it is only 2% of our body weight, yet it consumes 25% of our overall energy.
Wow.
Our mind or our brain is very powerful, but it is very restless at the same time.
Yeah.
And the role of your brain is to keep yourself safe. That is the only role of your brain. Anything which is challenging, your brain tells you, do not try this. And the role of the brain is to conserve energy, because it's a machine which is using most of your energy.
Yeah.
In spite of weighing 2%. So anything challenging, anything which is hard, it is telling you not to do it so that it can conserve energy. And what happens that we become fearful.
Yeah.
We don't try anything new. We start thinking over and over the same things. And we go through 60 to 70,000 thoughts per day. And 90% of these thoughts are the same as the day before.
Right.
And most of these thoughts are negative. So that's how our brain is made. We, by default, we, think about the things which is negative in our life, in spite of, having so many things in our life which is positive.
Yeah.
And that led me to the journey of meditation, and I tried to find the scientific reason what was happening inside my brain. And when I dive deep into it, there is a scientist with the name of Sarah Lazar. She's a neuroscientist, and she was also skeptical about meditation. How sitting for 10 or 15 minutes is going to control your restless mind.
Yeah.
Because the question comes with everybody, what is happening? And she figured out that 8 weeks of meditation decreases the electrical activity in the amygdala, which is correlated to less fear, worry, and anxiety. And this amygdala is the fight or the flight system.
Right.
Like, if you see anything which is fearful, then the system already puts you into the flight or flight mode. Either you fight it or you flee the situation.
Yeah.
And this system has been there for a long time. Like, it was helpful for our ancestors, like, when they saw a dinosaurus or a saber-jaw tiger, it helped them to survive. Because that's the reason the human population is able to survive, because we feared.
Yeah.
We were not the strongest, we were not the fastest.
Yeah.
But in spite of that, we are in this planet for a long time, and we are going to stay in this planet, for a much more longer time because of this fear center. Now, in this present generation, we don't have any predators, but still this system is in our brain.
Yeah.
We get these impulsive response, maybe from our neighbors, from our employer, from our spouses. Maybe something is going on inside the body, because the brain doesn't know that it is coming from outside or inside.
Yeah.
The brain knows something is happening, and it puts you into the flight or the flight system. And it will go through all the physiological response which happens inside your body, like your heartbeat increases, your blood rushes to all arms and legs. So these kind of physiological changes which happen when you are in the fight or the flight system. And this scientist, Sarah Lazar, found that not only it decreases the activity in amygdala, the size and volume of the amygdala decreases. And once the size of the amygdala decreases, it means you are less fearful, in spite of all the situation is, same in the external environment.
Yeah.
So that led me to, figure out, okay, there is something which is happening inside our brain. So, and that is definitely correlated to anxiety and depression.
Mhm.
Again, when you are in this depression state for a long time, there is a part in the brain which is called hippocampus. The longer you are in the depression state, the size and volume of the hippocampus, which is the memory center in your brain, decreases.
Okay.
And again, 8 weeks of meditation, increases the size and the volume of the hippocampus so that, you can have a good memory.
So how much time should anyone spend in meditation for 8 weeks, do you think, for that to change?
So initially, I will suggest, any of your users to, start with at least 5 minutes.
Okay.
Because again, if I tell anybody, or if you start with, 15 or 20 minutes, what happens, your brain revolts against it. Why should I sit for meditation? Because again, this is something which is mundane.
Yeah.
It's like, having the goal broken down into small things.
Yeah.
And, I have written in my book about a, philosophy of Kaizen, which has been used extensively in Japanese culture.
Mhm.
That, do small, consistent change over a period of time, rather than, taking a big chunk.
Yeah.
So, and by that way, if I tell you, Russell, can you walk a block? Your brain will not revolt against it. It will say, okay, this is fine.
Yeah.
If I tell somebody, okay, can you read one line from this book? You will say, okay, it's a piece of cake, rather than saying, okay, you have to read this full book. The same philosophy we have to apply in our routine, that, okay, I will sit for, 5 minutes
Yeah.
and see, what happens. And eventually you can, grow, or you can improve your timing and see, how it is going with you.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. So other than meditation, what else did you do in terms of like finding yourself, like getting out of the depression?
So meditation was first thing, but again, we have to see our life in a holistic approach. So after, devoting my time for meditation, I started walking because I was very unhealthy.
Yeah.
I used to weigh around 85 kilos or 90 kilos. And I started, walking around 15, 20 minutes every day.
Right.
So that, period again, I was trying to figure out what is happening inside my body. And um, it took me around, a year or year and a half. I was continuously walking, 15 or 20 minutes. And after the period of time, my body told me, okay, this is the time you can jog now.
Okay.
So I started jogging, and that led me to run my first half marathon. And eventually I ran a full marathon, and, that changed the course of my life. That has given me the confidence that, I can do bigger things in my life. Because again, it's about, how do you talk with yourself? When you
Yeah.
have a positive image about yourself, then you can do bigger things. So, that confidence has been given by, by running my first and marathon, and which has changed the trajectory of my life. So, exercise is the second thing, which I, suggest to all your listeners. And that is the best medicine, which has been, found in different research, that, if you are only walking,
Yeah.
it decreases the cardiovascular disease by, 32%.
Yeah.
So rather than taking a Prozac or, any other, antidepressant, walk or jog or whatever physical activity you want to do, because, there are different chemicals which is releasing in your brain, like endorphins, dopamine, which is released, when you are doing exercise. And there are many other things which is happening inside your body when you are doing exercise.
Yeah, I also agree with that. Like last night, I felt anxious after like breaking my fast, and I didn't take my antidepressant medication whole day, and even the evening. So in the evening time, I'm feeling really, really restless and anxious because my anxiety piling up because I'm now on medication. And this week, my goal was like reducing my medication. So I followed you. I got some ashwagandha as well, and some vitamin D, magnesium as well. So I'm going for like a supplement rather than like having a propanol and things like that. So I didn't take my antidepressant medication. Then I was like, what else I can do in terms of? So I did some breathing technique that calmed me a little bit. And then I was like, I need to do some exercise. So I did about 15 minutes exercise, following the YouTube videos, some of the moves and stretches and all that. Literally, it made me like a bit tired and also calm me down. So I went sleep is really nice, and I woke up this morning, and even then again I felt anxious, and then I realized I'm not going to take my medication. What I'm going to do, I'm going to go for shopping. We need to go shopping, but later in the evening I was like, I'm going to go right now. So I've been there, like that exhausts me as well, so it calmed me down. I went for like a fresh air, went for a walk. When you're doing shopping, you have to walk around everywhere. So that actually helped me as well to calm me down. So I realized like doing things actually helps. During the weekend, like I'm not working, so my routine is different compared to like weekdays. So weekdays I'm working, doing podcasting and things like that. So weekends, like if I'm not going out, like if I'm staying home, like that's like if you have a depression and anxiety, that can pile up. So what I do, I tend to be doing like a proper deep clean for the house. So like either be like cleaning the bathroom, cleaning the whole room, my office and everything. So that actually helps as well. So distracting your mind, I think, is important. And also when I was like 13, 14 years old, I lost both of my parents, and I was like going for severe depression. Like you mentioned, like 2013, 14, you had like a depression time. So that time was like a dark moment. And the only thing like helped me, I'm going to the gym, and like I played badminton. So badminton 6, 7 hours straight. So I didn't have to take any kind of medication or pills, and I would just focus on like a physical activity. And I came out of it like within 3 months. Because this is the darkest moment. I lost both of my parents at 13, and they both died within 3 months. So that was like, and without like any family members. And only thing kept me going with like exercising and like playing badminton. So with you, like I'm totally agree on that. Like physical exercise helps you so many ways, and also makes you tired so you can go good night's sleep. What else do you think like it worked really well for you in terms of like after meditation and exercise? Do you focus on like eating healthy, on like a balanced diet or supplements, anything like that?
Oh, yes, definitely. Because, we have to approach life in a holistic approach, I have mentioned. So when I was trying to, through this self-transformation journey, I started eating healthy.
Mm.
So I included like, whole foods rather than, eating, processed food,
Yeah.
which has a lot of preservatives. Try to eat, whole foods, like, it can be, fruits, it can be vegetables, it can be, meat as well. I try to avoid red meat, but other than that, I eat, chicken or lamb. Lamb is fine, or goat, whatever you eat, which is fine. But I try to avoid, red meat, because again, it can give you cardiovascular diseases.
Yeah.
But again, include, things which is brain healthy. Like if you see, blueberries, which is very good for your, brain. It can be strawberries, any kind of berries is good for your brain.
Yeah.
Then, if you include like broccoli, again, that is, very good for your brain. Eat fish, salmon, very good for your brain. It has, omega-3 fatty acid, which is, needed for your brain.
Mm.
Include avocado, nuts, walnuts, it can be any kind of nuts, but walnuts is more preferred. So again, have, small changes, rather than changing your diet, drastically in one day.
Yeah.
So you can take, okay, I'm going to eat broccoli today. I'm going to eat, few nuts today. Those kind of small changes is going to change your life, because, we are what we eat. If I am eating, pizza or a soda,
Mm.
what will be happening? I will be, lazy and lethargic.
Yeah.
If my body is lazy, my brain is going to work the same way, because our brain and body is interrelated. It is not two separate entities.
Yeah.
So it definitely matters, what you are putting inside your body. So,
Yeah.
again, diet plays a very crucial role.
Mm.
And again, you can, implement the formula of 80-20, rule. Eat healthy 80% of the time, and 20% of the time you can eat, what you like, because,
Mm.
that is again, we cannot avoid ourselves from enjoying at the same time. Life is not about, work, work, work. It has to have a balance between, good things and bad things, and, having discipline at the same time.
Yeah, so true that that is important as well. And you have to make small changes. I did the same thing with my diet. I couldn't go on all in. I had to make small changes. First, sugar is cut, then dairy product because I got ulcerative colitis, and then processed food, fast food, things like that. And right now, like I don't eat any of these. Last time I had a coffee about nearly 2 years now, so I don't know how coffee tastes like. So when you get to the position, and before that, like I have to have like one coffee at least a day in the morning time. And right now I'm surviving without it, and it doesn't bother me. Even though someone is having it next to me, I don't really crave it. Like yeah, I need to have that, or like a sugar. Even though something sweet, I have like a small bite from my son, like probably his chocolate a little bit, a tiny bit, put in his mouth. I was like, it's so sweet, and I can't take it. So that's what happens like when you take off like a sugary and also like a caffeine kind of things. So moving forward, Mr. Sanjeev, like you create an app as well for like helping other people. Like, what does your app do in terms of like for their mental health?
So, Russell, I launched my first app in 2022. It is called Luvo.
Mm,
It's a free app, and anybody can download it from Play Store or App Store. So we have, approach life in a holistic way, because, that app has a meditation,
okay.
it has guided meditation, unguided meditation, and we are starting live meditation.
All right.
So, as meditation has helped me, and that is kind of, one of the important part, as I have mentioned, because our mind is very restless, and we have to do something to control this restless mind. And
Yeah.
it can be, through meditation or yoga, but, meditation, which I have included in my app. The second part, which I have included in my app, is exercise,
Hmm.
because we all have to move our body. If you see our ancestors, like, they used to walk, 10 or 14 kilometers per day. But now life has become so, easy that we sit in our chairs whole day.
Yeah.
So exercise is the second thing. There are two ways you can, monitor your steps count. Either you can use your phone, or the second thing is you can connect your watch, any smartwatch,
Yeah.
through, through our app. Then it will give the steps count, from the smartwatch to the app. You can
Mhm.
use like, Garmin watch or Google Fit, or Fitbit, any kind of watch. So it will give you the steps count directly from your watch. The third thing which we have implemented is water intake.
Right.
As you know, that our body and brain is made up of 70% of water. And we live in places which is cold, like, Wisconsin is cold, we still have snow outside. So when it is cold, we don't drink enough water. And that app is going to remind you that, drink enough water. Like, it will give you notification that, it's time to drink water, because water is very essential, and it helps with anxiety and depression at the same time.
Yeah.
And the last part which we have included is the sleep analysis, how well we are sleeping, like whether you are sleeping, light sleep, deep sleep, REM sleep. Again, you can monitor that through the app, or you can get all the information from your smartwatch.
Okay.
And we are starting live session. As I mentioned, that we have live session for meditation, but we have live session for yoga at the same time.
Mm.
We have live meditation music, gratitude. As you know, that, gratitude is again, which makes you happy. There
Yeah.
are so many things in our life which we are, grateful for, but we don't see those kind of things. But if we, have a habit of seeing good things in our life, it changes, your mental state. So again, having some kind of positivity, what you are grateful for today, you wake up today, which is a good day, you have a son who is going to the school, which is again a good day, so
Yeah.
these kind of, small things we have to, implement and remind ourselves that, this is, good, which is happening in my life, rather than seeing what is not good in your life.
Mm. Yeah, that's great. That's a great way to look at, right? With the gratitude, that makes it like a change. Otherwise, like you're gonna focus on all of them problems in your lives, and it doesn't feel like you're gonna live or like you're gonna get up for the day and show up for your things. So thank you so much for Sanjeev sharing these kind of thoughts and your experiences as well. So we're coming to the end of this podcast. It's been a great pleasure having you on the show. So if anyone wants to learn more about yourself or like about your business or the app, where's the best place to find everything?
So they can go to my website, www.zesttolive.com. I have a Facebook page, and I have written a book, The Man with Zero Talent. So they can go to the Facebook page, they can go to the amazon.co.uk or .com, and they can, buy my book. If somebody wants to, download my free book, they can first download the free app, and there is a link in the app so that they can download the free book. You can find me in YouTube. I do have a YouTube channel with the name of Luvo Productions. I put my podcast there, as well as, there are information about the app. I make some music at the same time. So, there are a lot of information in my YouTube channel. And they can Google with my name at the same time, Sanjib Nandi, and they can find a lot of information about myself.
All right. Thank you so much for sharing that. So thanks for coming today. I wish you best of luck with your personal life and your business. And I hope you have a wonderful day ahead. Thanks for coming today.
Thank you, Russell, for inviting me in your podcast. Have a nice
You're
day.
most welcome. Thank you. So that's a wrap, guys. Thank you so much for listening to this conversation. I hope you got some value from it and enjoyed our conversation. Until then, I'll talk to you in the next episode. Take care.